Hello again and welcome to Spotlight, the interview show on RT. I'm Al Gurinov, and together here with me on the show to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year is Irina Slutskaya. The holiday season in Russia is traditionally the time of snow, ice and winter sports, of which figure skating is one of the favorites. Irina Slutskaya is the best female Russian figure skater ever. She is twice world champion, 7 times European champion, and today she is the star of a terrific holiday on ice called The Sleeping Beauty. Irina Slutskaya is on Spotlight today.
Figure skating has always been a cultural phenomenon in Russia, just like the Bolshoi or Sputnik. But in recent years, it's become a mainstream winter sport with thousands of skating rinks opening around the country. Irina Slutskaya is one of the people behind its newfound popularity. She's hosted a few Dancing on Ice TV shows and occasionally stars in live skating performances. The ice mania is also being actively supported by the authorities in a bid to promote the sport ahead of the Winter Olympics in Sochi.
Hello, Irina, and welcome to Spotlight. Actors always feel nervous before going on stage, but you don't appear to be, or are you? What are your emotions now, deep inside?
Hello. Of course, I get that feeling of excitement before every performance. If you're in the spotlight, you cannot stay calm and collected, especially if you have some skating routines in the show. So, yes, I do feel nervous.
In Russia, we always believe New Year's dreams will come true. You have a show about the New Year, so it should come off well.
It should come off well. We've been working so hard all our lives.
Which of the New Year traditions is your favorite? And do you believe in almonds?
What I love most is the evening of December the 31st, when the family puts up the fir tree and decorates it.
Do you dress it up right on the eve?
Yes.
Many people now put it up as early as November.
No, we don't. We dress it up together with my dad. We put decorations all over the apartment. It's this joyous, festive feeling of something in the air that I love most. You get the whole family together, you run away from the fuss of the world.
Do you keep the fir tree for long? Until the old-style New Year?
Somewhere around that time.
Until the 14th of January?
Yes, around the old-style New Year we take it down.
Let us now talk about the ways of celebrating New Year so that our worldwide audience learns more about truly Russian traditions. First of all, the Russians have 2 New Year holidays. We have the 1st of January and the old-style New Year. Do you recall any other unique rituals? You've traveled a lot.
I'm not sure. Definitely it's fortune-telling on Christmas Eve. I think it's only practiced by the Russians. Then it's salad Olivier.
Right.
But it's not really of Russian origin.
Oh no, it is Russian. The chef was French, but it was made right here in Moscow. It features a lot of potatoes and mayonnaise.
And no ham.
Anything else?
I think the Russians have a unique way of seeing the New Year in. Other nations do it differently. Well, everyone else has Santa Claus and other unusual names. We have our own Father Frost. That's a proper wintry name. Father Frost comes from the city of Veliki Ustyug. I think this too is one of our unique traditions.
Do you put up a real or artificial fir tree?
Always a real one.
My child says those with an artificial tree will get an artificial Father Frost.
I like the smell of a conifer. I know it's bad to cut down trees, but I can't help it.
They do grow them specially for that reason.
When you open the door, step inside and smell that aroma. Also, the smell of tangerines hanging on the tree. Hey, that's another tradition. Candies on the tree. I've remembered that since I was a child. It was a must to hang a particular chocolate on the tree.
In Soviet times, the New Year was always a time for skating. When you say New Year, you think of winter and a skating rink, music and fun. Do you have similar associations?
Well, since it's my profession, I should have New Year's every day.
But you didn't begin skating as early as a baby, right?
I was 4, no, even earlier.
4 years.
Yes, almost since I was just a baby.
So you don't really remember a time when you weren't on ice?
Yes, that's a difficult thing to imagine.
In Soviet times, the New Year was a more significant day than Christmas, wasn't it? The communists banned all religious holidays. Today, Christmas is gaining ground again. Do you think it will eventually knock New Year off the podium, as in Europe, or will the New Year stay on top of the holiday list for Russians?
I think New Year will always be our main holiday. It will take many generations before Christmas reaches first place. Of course, Christmas is much more important for believers, but I don't think the number of devout Christians is that high in Russia. We're all believers, of course. The question is how serious we are about our faith. Whereas New Year's Day is everybody's holiday.
Right, it's everybody's holidays, because we have so many religions in Russia.
I love it. I love this holiday. It's the only day in the year when you're happy and you tell every person you meet Happy New Year. There's this atmosphere of unity. Christmas is more of a religious holiday, and we celebrate it a little differently.
You're right, you know. I have many times celebrated New Year and Christmas abroad, and people tend to stay home on this day. Even if they drink, they don't go outside with a bottle of champagne, they don't hug strangers. We are really unique. Another thing I remember from my childhood is the New Year's children's shows.
The one in the Kremlin.
Of course, it was hard to get a ticket. You had to have connections. I guess your parents did.
No, I got tickets from my school as a reward.
Now, this show of yours, by the way, it's not your first. Is it an attempt to bring back those New Year shows, except that this one is for adults?
This is an attempt, or rather this is a real opportunity for children to find themselves in the middle of a fairy tale. The world is so cruel today, and people don't see anything besides their computers and television. And here you have real performers, real characters. I think every child should come and see this fairy tale.
Does this mean your show will not be shown on television?
Of course it will, but during these few special days when children come with their parents, you have this miracle where characters from the fairy tale come to life and you can watch it happening right before your eyes.
It's a very short period, I think just a couple of weeks that your show will be running.
It's not that short, actually. We started on December the 16th and we ran through to January the 8th.
That's not enough. How long did you work on it? 6 months? And then after 2 weeks it's gone?
No, it's not like that.
It's like the Olympic Games. You spend several years practicing and then?
No, we worked on it for a few months, but I guess it doesn't make sense to have it running much longer because you lose the fairy tale effect.
What do you mean? That's the ballet by Tchaikovsky, the Sleeping Beauty. They have it running all year round.
Still, I think it should only be shown during the New Year's season.
Because of ice?
I guess ice and tangerines.
But no Santa Claus, right?
What about you and me?
Irina, you're playing the parts of the Wicked Fairy in this show.
Yes.
Why the Wicked Fairy? Is it for the same reason that the part of the Black Swan has always been considered more difficult than that of the White Swan?
No, it's not like that. I have always played heroines and princesses and good fairies, but this time I wanted to play a character part. This part offers a good opportunity to be more emotional, to discover something new. That's why I went for it.
Do you mean it's more dramatic? It's more challenging for you as an actor?
A character part offers a better chance to
express yourself?
Express yourself, and it can be very different. Good is always good, but evil can be different.
How interesting.
It is.
So good is too banal for you?
Good is good. Of course, good always triumphs over evil.
I think you're attracted by vice a little bit, aren't you?
Well, who isn't? Seriously, though, I really thought it would be interesting. You'll see, there's an episode where I'm swinging high up on a ring.
I can see the ring up there. I even heard that you're doing it without safety rope. Is that true?
I'm holding holding on to it with my hand. There are other things. Again, this is a chance for me to do something new. Doing the same part again and again is not that good. I'm exploring new territory here.
Irina, are you performing any of those fascinating jumps, any of the elements that you were so famous for as a professional in this show? Or is it more about acting than the technique?
Yes, it's more about acting. There's a lot of that involved. It's not like I perform some very difficult jumps, but there are a few. I make my complicated spins that once made me world famous. I also perform beautiful spirals and other figure skating elements. I am no longer claiming the Olympic title. All of us understand that this show is not going to be a free skating program. I think that I should be more focused on emotions rather than the technical side, because the children who come to see the show are unlikely to appreciate that I've made 25 triple jumps or performed some other elements.
But do you make triple jumps?
I always jump everything. We have 44 performances. I have one specific feature. Whenever I dance solo, I introduce spontaneous changes in the course of the show.
So you improvise on ice if you feel like doing that?
I'm sticking to the main framework of the dance, but I think that it's boring to perform one and the same element 4 times. Any actor always lives on stage.
That's what makes a live performance different to a recorded one.
Any show is a life story. That is why sometimes I would turn skate in a slightly different direction and do a slightly different element. So we live here in this show.
Says Irina Slutskaya, world champion figure skater. Spotlight will be back shortly after a break, so stay with us. Don't go.
Witnesses to history in the making. Testimony. 10 stories that shaped 2011 on RT. Wealthy British scion Zach Wilson, investment activist
Markets, finance, scandal. Find out what's really happening to the global economy with Max Kaiser. For a no-holds-barred look at the global financial headlines, tune in to Kaiser Report on RT.
Life in Russia would be so much brighter if you knew more about someone from first impressions. Meetfriends.rt.com.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Al Gurunov, and just a reminder that my guest on the show today is Irina Slutskaya, a world champion figure skater, and she is the main star and one of the main organizers of the Sleeping Beauty ice ballet show that's kicking off in Moscow this Christmas season. Irina,
when you spoke about your participation and your performance in this ice show, you said, we are not at the Olympic Games. To pick up on that, I'm tempted to ask you about your sporting career. You've won 2 world championships and hold 7 European titles, which is a record number for Europe, but you've fallen short of becoming an Olympic champion. Is it still annoying you? To be honest, it's still annoying at all of us.
Of course, there's still a feeling of bitterness. I'm not talking about Turin, where I made a mistake and it was my fault, but I'm still very hurt by what happened in Salt Lake City, where I fell victim to dirty political games and was deprived of my Olympic title. But the most important thing is that I am the Olympic champion in the hearts of my fans. It's true that I don't have this title, but life goes on. My 2 young kids are my 2 tiny Olympic medals, and there's nothing more important for me in this world than my children. Yes, it happened in my life. I was an athlete who won medals and top sport titles, but that period of my life is over. A new period has started for me, and I have to go on living. I should seek new heights. I should learn and study a lot and work to realize my full potential. So I've already outlived that Olympic bad luck, though a little bit of feeling remains. But that wasn't the end of the world.
Irina, today you take part in ice shows. It's already a business, a kind of life after sports. You're a brilliant example, proving that there can be life after a person leaves big sport. What do you think is more important for an athlete today? To fully realize potential in sport? You felt short of just one step, an Olympic gold medal. Or is it more important to be successful after a sport career is over, just like you today?
I don't think that it cannot be either or, because if athletes start thinking of what they are going to do after their sport career is over, they're not going to achieve anything in sport or be successful in their post-sport careers. There are certain goals and tasks which are set for a certain period of your life. In major sports, an athlete should progress and try to win and conquer the heights he wants to conquer. When you leave sport, you understand that this chapter is over. Then you just turn the page and start a new life from scratch. It's very difficult to find oneself in this new life, because most athletes come to realize after quitting big sports that they need to start everything from square one, because we don't know anything except our profession. That is why we have to learn everything from the start, and that's difficult. It is very difficult, particularly in terms of psychology, because you feel like a celebrity, everybody knows you, and yet around here you're really nothing special. It does turn out to be a big moral challenge when you have to start learning something new at the age of 25 or 26, and you have to make up your mind about what you want to do and where you want to go. It also takes up quite a bit of time once you start trying various professions, looking for a job that appeals to you. The hardest part is that it's difficult for someone who is used to having a high profile to abandon publicity overnight and go sit in an office in front of a computer, because your ambitions stay with you, and being in the spotlight is like a magnet that keeps attracting you. You want to be high profile again. It's not that you want people to recognize you wherever you go. It's the exchange of emotion, the adrenaline.
And the ice itself?
Well, yes, though I'm actually referring to athletes in general. You get used to things like applause, and it's difficult to switch to doing something else. That's why many athletes take so long choosing a new career.
We've mentioned ice. In fact, I went into figure skating myself when I was a kid. Of course, I never did it professionally, but every time I come near a skating rink, I feel a certain rush. It gets to you. You spoke of life outside sports. My son is seriously into sports, and whenever he has a hard time with it, I tell him, Sasha, keep your head up. After all, athletics teaches you essential things in life. Being persistent, working in a team, being a winner. But once you quit sports and go into everyday life, the rules are different. Don't you think?
Completely different.
So does it mean sport does not really prepare you for everyday life?
Doing sports teaches you motivation and hard work. But unfortunately, in day-to-day life, there are none of the gold medals that we're used to.
And the race is not always to the swift.
Right.
Just like athletics, and you've had a chance to find it out.
But nevertheless, you know, whenever I would go onto the ice, I felt that success depended upon myself by 50 or 70%. In everyday life, it doesn't always depend upon you, therefore it's not all that simple.
So it basically means there is more freedom in sports. You feel free when it's up to you.
Well, like I said, you don't control it 100%, even in sports. Still, it's important to feel you've done your very best. Then again, in our sport, credit is given outside the ring.
Do your children already skate? At least Artem, who must be 4, does he?
I've enrolled Artem into a skating school. He showed interest in it himself when he was only 3 or even 2 years old. He asked me, Mom, whose skates are these? They're yours. Let's go skating then. He held me by the hand the first time, and then he told me, hands off, I'll go myself, and he went along.
No chair?
Oh, no.
Did they use a chair when they taught you?
No.
No chair either?
I had double blade skates.
They used a chair for me. Sounds familiar?
No, not really. But for Artem, I think it's more of a game for now. Getting dressed up, putting on the skates, getting mommy to tow you around on ice.
Do you think he'll skate professionally?
I don't know, we'll see.
But does it feel good to see him skate?
So far he trots on his skates instead. He's funny, of course.
I never knew you had to start doing sports so early, aged only 4. You know, many professional athletes like yourself say you should never let your child be an athlete. It's hellish toil.
Well, imagine your son came to you and asked, are these my skates? I want to skate. Was I supposed to tell him, no, Artem, skating is a bad thing, don't do it? If your child takes an interest in an activity or has a passion for something, why not let him skate?
Who are your spectators today? When you were an athlete, your audience was all of Russia, or at least the skating fans. What about today, when you dance on ice in a theatrical show? Who's in the audience? Children or adults?
It's very difficult to say, because we have different people come for the show.
But is there a generalized image of a spectator you dance for?
Very often I see grown-up men and women in the audience who have come to watch the show without any kids.
Who do you personally dance for?
All of them.
It doesn't work that way.
Oh, yes, it does. I can't really dance exclusively for children, as I realize that every child will be coming with a parent, and I realize that parents shouldn't feel bored at our show. Therefore, we perform for any kind of audience. What's the trick if I want to appeal to children? A picturesque costume, music and lights. What's the attraction for adults? Dance elements. So you have to provide it all in the right proportion.
And it's all there in your ice show. You took part in a show with stars. What was it called?
Stars on Ice and Ice Age.
Yes. Do you think it really gave an impulse to figure skating's popularity in the country, or is that a slight exaggeration?
It obviously gave a certain push to it. However, if not for those who have gained top prizes at World Championships, no matter how we would have tried, we could hardly have succeeded. There are those people who bring this to life, both Sasha and myself, who put so much effort and emotion into it, along with other sportsmen. All of us did live in those projects. At the same time, someone began to believe that was all too simple, and in a month they would be able to perform all the figure skating elements as easily as the others. They forgot, though, they are not professionals, but they are working along with professionals of the highest level.
Who are carrying them, yeah?
Right, those who are not professional do learn some skills, but don't let us forget, all can be video recorded, edited and so forth, even if there is only one take. You know very well how it all works.
Oh yes, there is a a similar tournament in tennis when professionals and amateurs play together. Say some guy plays with Nastya Miskina, he would later say, "She and I defeated someone."
Let me tell you, all the actors, singers, and all the participants all did what they were there for.
That's true.
They all spent a huge amount of time on those 3 months literally living on the ice.
Irina, you're an Olympic ambassador for Sochi, for peace, whatever it's called, an ambassador. What are the chances for Russia's figure skaters in Sochi? The stakes will be very high and we're simply bound to win, right?
You know, it's very hard to say. Figure skating is a very specific kind of sport in terms of coordination. You may not be ready sometimes to forecast anything. Generally, forecasting is never a sure thing. There are many nuances a spectator usually does not see. Take, for instance, a situation when you get exactly on track with your partner and you may stumble. Virtually anything can happen, you can hardly imagine. As a Russian sportswoman and patriot, I would surely want us to win gold medals in the ladies and men's single competitions, pair skating and ice dancing. If we look into this now, we must try our best. Well, what does that mean? We must. We'll be doing our best. We have a chance in pair skating, in ladies singles, and we should try to get the prizes in ice dancing and single man skating too.
Irina, thank you very much. Good luck to you and most importantly to your performance.
Thank you very much for being with us. And just a reminder that my guest on the show today was Irina Slutskaya, the world champion, 2 times world champion, 7 times champion of Europe, and today the star of the Sleeping Beauty show on ice that's on in Moscow during these Christmas and New Year holidays. That was Spotlight. We'll be back next year with more first-hand comments on what's going on in and outside Russia. Until then, Christmas greetings, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and stay with us on Russia Today.